Today, we're at Encore Ultralights, located at Bear Creek Airport. Now, this is just across the San Diego County line in Riverside County near Temecula. The best way to show you how one of these things flies is to get in it and fly it. So let's get today's show started. This is Mike Selfridge. He's co-owner of Encore Ultralights. And before we go up today, he's going to do the pre-flight and tell you a little bit about the safety factors in flying ultralights. First of all, Mike, what is the power plant that keeps this thing in the air?
It's a Rotax 503 52 horsepower air-cooled engine. It's a two-cycle aircraft engine with dual ignition.
52 horsepower.
Right.
That's more than the Wright brothers and Louis Blériot had.
Oh yeah, it's plenty. It's more than we need. It'll really get you up there.
Now, what are the wings and tail surfaces covered with? Not J.C. Penney drapery lining,
No.
like the one I built.
No, it's covered with Dacron. It's a ripstop material, very lightweight, very durable, and the material is coated with a UV protectant to protect it from the sun.
UV is ultraviolet. Tell our viewers what ripstop means.
It means that if a tear were to start, if you were to puncture a wing, it wouldn't continue tearing.
The pattern goes in a zigzag so that there's no line.
Well, actually, no, it would not. Oh, you mean the weave pattern?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the technical side of it, but yeah, it won't continue ripping if it starts.
It's like drilling a hole in a crack in an airplane window. That's a stop hole.
Right. Yeah.
Now tell us about the propeller. This propeller's not made out of metal.
No, it's a composite fiber prop. It's an adjustable pitch propeller, and it's very lightweight. You can adjust it to the optimum engine performance.
I didn't know that you had an adjustable pitch prop on it. How do you change the pitch?
You just loosen some bolts and you use a level and adjust it according to the level.
Oh, I see. So you can't change it while you're in the air?
No, no.
There used to be an adjustable pitch prop that you could change on the ground with a lever, either for climb or speed. So you would decide what you're going to do and then change it before you take off.
Right, you can optimize it for climb or cruise.
Now, you have something on these ultralights, that's the correct name, called a canister parachute. Would you tell our audience about that, in case they're still a little bit nervous?
Sure. Yeah, it's a rocket-deployed parachute which lowers the entire plane to the ground in case you get into difficulty.
It's about the size of a box of Quaker Oats, and you pull the string, and in 2 seconds, there's a parachute up over the airplane, and you float down with that parachute.
That's right. Yeah.
See, I did my homework. What else would you like to tell our audience about the safety factors on these ultralights?
Well, they're built with all aircraft-grade components, aircraft-grade hardware, aircraft aluminum. The frame is made of chromoly, the frame that goes around where the people sit.
So it's not used lawn chairs?
No, and it's not a build from spare parts in your garage type thing. It's, in fact, you can certify these as general aviation aircraft.
You can get an N number for it and have it certified as an airplane.
Right, that's right.
Well, I guess the next thing to do is to do the pre-flight and get in this thing and fly it. This is Bill Clark, the other co-owner of Encore Ultralights, and he's going to check me out. Not that I'm so good looking, that means he's going to check me out in this ultralight. Now, Bill, the thing that I like about your operation here is, number one, you actually have an airfield where pilots can fly in and land. What is the length of your field?
It's a 2,000-foot runway, and it's an FAA-approved runway as well.
And I see a couple of DC-3s.
Yeah, they're getting those ready for a movie. They stripped them and redoing them, and they're getting them ready for a movie.
Now, if a DC-3 can come in here and land, I would suggest that your Cessna 150 can come in here and land. The other thing I like about your operation is that you don't have to buy an ultralight and pay hangar or tie-down space. You can come up here and rent them.
Yeah, that's correct. You can rent them, but we do a checkout and make sure you're real safe in them and everything, and then yes, you can rent them.
So if you already have a pilot's license, you can come up here and check out in an ultralight, and then come up here and just rent an ultralight. Actually, you could fly up in your airplane and land and rent an ultralight for a couple of hours for a day's fun.
Yeah, we do sell them also, and you can come out here and you can rent them and you can have a good time. And if you decide you like one, we can sell you one too. We're a Quicksilver dealer.
Now, for someone like myself who's already a licensed pilot, how long could they expect it to take to check out in an ultralight?
Well, this particular model flies a lot like a 150. Actually, it's even more stable, believe it or not. You could fly it real good at the end of one lesson, but we usually do 2 lesson minimum. Unless you're extremely, fly it extremely proficient, then sometimes we'll let you go with 1 lesson. But normally it's 2 lessons.
And how long is 2 lessons?
Well, it's 45 minutes of airtime and then 15 minutes of ground instruction, teaching you the difference between it, because the 150 is like throwing a baseball and this is like throwing a wiffle ball or a wadded up piece of paper. So, and the weights are a lot lighter. This is a 330 pound empty weight here on this one.
So you could fly up here on a Saturday morning and in 2 hours be checked out in this thing?
Under most circumstances, yes. I won't make any promises. There are people who haven't.
Generally speaking?
Generally speaking, yes. Definitely no more than 2 lessons.
Okay, so you can fly up here, land your airplane, they have a nice big strip, and rent and check out an ultralight. This is one of the parachute jumps here at Bear Creek Airport. In addition to ultralights, they also have parachute jumping. But today, we're here to tell you the story of the ultralights.
Let me turn the plane. Okay, go ahead and hop in there.
Clear!
Okay, we're gonna taxi on over to the field. We've got, looks like maybe 8 to 10 knot wind, about 30 degrees off the runway. Over here on the right's the skydiving people. We'd like to idle this motor, I'd say about no lower than 2,000 RPMs, because the 2-stroke motors, they have a tendency to load up, as they call it, low idle flood out, basically. Over just around the corner here, we'll see the airport, the runway, I mean. Okay, well, when we go out, we're going to do we're going to taxi down a little ways down the runway. We're going to do a midfield departure, and on the end of the runway, you'll see the vineyards out there. out here is the wine country for California, and you'll see the vineyard. So what we'll do is clear the area. It looks good. And by the way, on this runway, you could probably take off 3 or 4 times and land before you run out of runway with one of these airplanes. So I'll go ahead and go on down just for safety reasons. In case if I have a failure or something, I'll be able to land on the runway. I sure like flying out here, all the mountains and the terrain, the trees. Okay, we're gonna turn around now. As you can see, there's quite a bit of runway left. So anybody flying a Cessna, there's 182s, there's otters in here. I've seen Moonies come in. Okay, this also has a dual magneto system, just like a Lycoming or something. Right now I'm checking the mags, and we'll be rotating about 30 miles per hour. So here we go. I'm not going to be talking for a minute. Right here. The airport's named, I guess, after this creek. As you can see, it's very beautiful. It's a nice day, too. That's what I like about these airplanes. As you can see, we're low and we're slow. I really like them. I'm going to be turning right cross. I'm going to be turning my base leg for my final approach. Okay, we're on base. Now we're going on final. I'm going to land about halfway down the runway because I don't need it all. And I'd rather fly down to the end than taxi because flying is a lot faster. Okay, I'm going to start descending now for my landing. Here we are, coming in. Okay, we got a Cessna. I hope he sees us. There we are. And he did see us, by the way. Also, you can see that these things take bumps very well. The airframe is designed to flex for suspension, and also everything in this ultralight here is aircraft quality T6 aluminum, all A&N bolts, chromoly 4130 chromoly. The entire thing is is the same kind of materials you'll find in any aircraft.
This is Gigi Nordquist, and she's here today to take an ultralight ride. Why are you doing this?
Well, my husband is a pilot, and he enjoys flying, but I don't like being up quite that high in the air. I thought maybe with ultralights I could skim along above the treetops and the housetops, and it might be something I'd enjoy more.
Have you flown in airplanes?
Yes, I have, and I don't enjoy it generally. I'm very nervous on big aircraft and in little airplanes too.
But you wouldn't be nervous in an ultralight?
I don't know. I flew in a helicopter once and enjoyed that very much. Went parasailing once and was terrified. So I'm just waiting today to try it and see what happens.
Now, parasailing is a parachute that flies like a hang glider.
Uh-huh. It's attached behind a boat. We did this in Mexico. And you fly through the air, and that was quite an experience.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
The ultralight is off the ground. It takes off at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. Notice how quickly they take off and how fast they climb. These ultralights are a far cry from what was first known as hang gliders. The fabric that they're covered with is scientifically superior, and the tubular aluminum that they're built with is scientifically superior. The engine is superior. The fiber composite propellers are superior. They have evolved into an excellent flying machine. That's the jump plane for the skydivers, the parachute jumpers that operate here. In addition to the ultralights, they also have a skydiving operation here. These ultralights will take off and land in about 300 feet. There's a 2,000-foot runway here, big enough for a DC-3 to land. As a matter of fact, there are two DC-3s that fly in and out of here for jump planes for the parachute jumpers. But the ultralights only use about 300 feet. They could take off and land, take off and land, take off and land on this runway. It looks like she enjoyed that ride. And here goes the jump plane carrying the skydivers. One of the ways the ultralights have been described is it's like a motorcycle in the air compared to driving in a car that's closed and riding on the freeway in a motorcycle. An ultralight is kind of like a motorcycle with wings. You're right out in the open. Now he's going to land down at the end of the runway. No, he isn't. He's added a little power and he's floating on. We're right in the middle of the day, so you got a lot of heat and a lot of thermal coming up off the runway. So that thing will float like crazy. He didn't land. That was a low pass. These are the two DC-3s that fly in and out of here with the skydivers. If a DC-3 can come in here, just about anything can land in here. It's a 2,000-foot runway. If it's big enough for a DC-3, it's big enough for your airplane. Flying ultralights back in around 1970 with Volmer Jensen. At that time, they were nothing like they are now. The first one I built was covered with JCPenney drapery lining. That'll give you an idea of how far they've come. He's down, touchdown. He's down on the ground, and he's still got about 1,700 feet left. You could literally take off and land one of these things in a schoolyard, on a football field. They need less than 300 feet to take off and less than 300 feet to land. These ultralights are more powerful than the airplanes that the Wright brothers built and flew, and more powerful than Louis Blériot's airplane that flew across the English Channel. They've come a long way. This is a tandem parachute jump. The instructor and the student are tied together with Velcro. A tandem two-person parachute jump. A far cry from the old T-6s that the 11th Airborne jumped in.